Do you have a Band-Aid? Because I scraped my knee when I fell for you. Get it? Because pickup lines. They're pretty annoying. Hiya folks, Fruit and Doggy here. Here to complain about things that aggravate and annoy me. And today what comes to mind is overpriced goods. Now, I think we're all familiar with going to the store, seeing products and items that there's no way I'd ever buy that. It's simply too high, too expensive, not even reasonable or in kind of the remotely possible for me to buy things. And I don't really mean items that are expensive either. There are items that can cost a pretty penny, but they're by all means totally worth it. And I've seen some pretty interesting and good videos that talk about how items aren't necessarily unfairly priced, overly expensive. It depends on the market. It depends on basically our differing values, our different ideas of what a good price is. So if you're in the market, if you're selling something, you can put whatever price you want on. You can put whatever price you want onto your product and service, as long as somebody's willing to pay that. So, on that sense, I'm not really too annoyed because, again, there are items that I wouldn't buy that are too expensive, and there are items where, like, you know what, that makes perfect sense to me. That is very nice. I would love to have that. So, for instance, top of the line, state-of-the-art equipment, electronics. Again, I've already admitted that I'm a bit of a gamer geek. I'm not necessarily always on top of what the trends are, what's popular, but I still would enjoy and like to keep up with those things if I could afford it. And though I can somewhat concede and understand that, yes, you can put whatever price you want on to your goods and your services, there are times where I still would say it's like, that just doesn't seem like a good idea. That doesn't seem reasonable. And when I think of overpriced goods, what comes to my mind typically are festivals, fairs, carnivals, those excuse me, maybe like trade shows where it's a traveling sellers basically. I hate when I mix up my language that bad. But I really enjoy, despite how I'm opening with a complaint about those events, they are really a lot of fun to go to. It's fun just to walk around, to see what's out there, to see all of the different products on sale, to, you know, buy some a little bit pricey food, but stuff you don't get all the time. You know, like a funnel cake. I really enjoy my summer yearly funnel cake. But all too often as I'm looking around, I almost never buy anything because the prices just don't seem to be reasonable. They don't seem fitting or appropriate. And I can understand that with them having to travel, going with where the festival, where the events are, having to pay for a lot rental price, the special equipment they would have to set up, the tent, their tables, excuse me, and then all of that time where they would be staying there, and instead of getting any other work done, or if they were at their normal store, a brick and mortar store where they could be doing paperwork, they could be answering emails, paying bills, they're basically stuck in kind of a lose-lose where unless they're actively selling, then they don't have as much opportunity to get other work done. With tablets, smartphones, and so on, I'm sure they have some options available to them, but again, not nearly as convenient or as much variety and options available at home, or at, a normal office, and likely with less disruptions with the way the traffic and people coming in and out tend to go. And, on my side of things, I do just kind of stand hop. I might just peek real fast, see I have no interest whatsoever, and move on. Or if it's at least somewhat novel or interesting, I will at least look into the person on the other side. It's like, okay, maybe they're going to buy something, or ask some questions, and again, maybe going towards the direction of buying something, and it's like, no, I'm just looking. So I can understand on their side that would probably be somewhat annoying, tedious, and you're trying your best to be charismatic, engaging, and you might be dealing with people who don't want to buy anything most of the day. But though I can appreciate their position, I can understand that they have some investment costs, and they do have to make a living, obviously. I don't really want to pay more for them with a product I can't return, mind you, than I would be able to find elsewhere. And really, in this day and age, the shopper, the consumer, is king more than ever, because you have your local stores, your shopping districts, and those are as varied as they ever have been. And then you have your large department stores. You have your Walmarts, your Target stores that sell a little bit of everything. And then you've got the internet. And with sites like eBay, where you can bid on used items, or, there's so much diversity and variety. And you can maybe try your luck with bidding. Excuse me. Or you can go Amazon or other online stores and just pay whatever price is listed. But again, you have all of that variety available to you. But for me, I think there's just so many negatives going against these different events that they really have to go above and beyond to earn my money. And so, if it's not going to be a great deal, again, the whole complaint is that it's overpriced, it really has to wow me. But because I've learned through experience, I've had buyer's remorse, bought something I thought I would love, turned out I really didn't care for it, and what's even more important is, in these situations, you can't return it. I just don't tend to buy items from these sorts of events anymore. I suppose the other way to title this video, aside from overpriced items, would be buying from fairs, festivals, carnivals, and so forth, because I just don't see the appeal anymore. Now, if you have a lot of disposable income, you're not too concerned with your money, kind of a gambler's mindset where it's like, hey, I've got $100, and whereas if I were to go gambling with this money, likely lose it all, at least if I buy something, if it's not completely rubbish, I only spend my money on something that has inherent value, then I at least get something out of it, even if it is costing me more here than if I bought it somewhere else. It's more for the experience. I could appreciate that mindset, but I just don't have that sort of money to spend and blow. And even if I did, I've got so many other choices that really would fall outside of what they tend to sell at these events. Again, my two lifelong interests and hobbies have been books and video games, and they don't tend to sell very well. They don't tend to sell those two things in these areas. And I guess on a similar tangent, what comes to mind also is farmers markets, which I really enjoy looking around because it's nice being able to get some local fresh produce. but the same issue can arise there. Is this overpriced? I do want to support local goods. I do want to maintain that sustainability, but is it really worth what you're charging me? If I were to just compare what you're selling to the supermarket, or because I grew up in the country, I'm familiar with the farming lifestyle. I've helped my parents out in the garden. And it's a lot of work, and there's the investment of your tools, but seeds are incredibly cheap, and it's all about labor as your main cost. So I don't really want to pay a whole lot just for locally grown vegetables or produce. It's not worth that much to me. And again, if I were to buy in huge bulk, if I were to make, the giant pot of tomato sauce and I would can dozens of jars, then, that might have more value to me. But unless it's certain produce, I don't think the taste is going to be that noticeable or different. Especially if what you're making just gets blended in with a lot of other ingredients. So unless you're going to eat a lot of those items raw, such as the fruit, it doesn't matter that much. And it also annoys me seeing other products that are just overly priced. Honey, wine, homemade wine is one that is very highly priced. And I say homemade, a small winery, the small local wineries, they tend to be very highly priced. But yeah, this is just an aggravation of mine, seeing items that have so much competition, have so many other places you can purchase comparable goods for much better deals, and they just charge you at the nose, and there's not really a good rationale. They can't point to the quality. If you were to do, they don't do like a blind taste test. That would be a really simple way to make the point. If not just give me a test, not just to give me a free sample, put your money where your mouth is. Let me see a comparison. So if you are going to sell something at your stalls or your stands, that really might be a good way to make your points. Like, hey, you know what? This is a little more pricey. Just going to be completely upfront with you about that. Maybe not even give an exact dollar figure as a contrast. But how about you just try a little bit of both and you tell me what you like more. It's like, hey, you know what? If you like the store version, if you like that one better, eat your heart out, have fun. If you like mine, maybe think about buying it. Just something that came to mind. But anyways, that's been another video and me complaining about stuff. So have a good one. Fruit and Doggy.